Welcome back, true crime enthusiasts. Today we delve into another compelling case filled with love, deception, and betrayal. If you're drawn to gripping stories and unexpected twists, you're in the right place. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue bringing you powerful and thought-provoking content each week. Now let's begin.
They say every small town has secrets. In the quiet community of Brookhaven, Colorado, nestled between rolling hills and winding roads, the townspeople never expected that one of their own would become the center of a cold-blooded murder. It began with a single 911 call. A man named Mark Collins, age 34, had been shot outside his apartment complex around 6:45 p.m. The first officer on the scene found him lying in a pool of blood, his body riddled with bullets. There was no weapon nearby, no immediate suspect in sight. But Mark was still breathing, barely. He was airlifted to Mercy General Hospital, clinging to life, while detectives scrambled for answers. Mark wasn't just a random target. He'd been in a long, complicated relationship with Devin Carter, a 30-year-old mail carrier for the Brookhaven Postal Service. Their relationship had been on and off for years. Friends described it as passionate, but toxic. And when Jason started dating someone else, Devin didn't take it well. At first, investigators didn't know what to make of the situation. There were no witnesses, no clear motive. But Mark, even in his fading state, managed to say one thing to a nurse before slipping into unconsciousness. It was Devin. She shot me. And just like that, everything changed. Detectives brought Devin in for questioning the next morning. She looked tired but calm, wore her postal uniform like any other day. She sat across the table, sipping from a paper cup, clutching her purse. Her story? She was on her delivery route when Mark was shot. She didn't know anything about it. But detectives already had surveillance footage, grainy, distant, but enough to show a vehicle matching Devin's parked near Mark's building minutes before the shooting. A figure roughly her height and build got out. The timing was almost too precise. She claimed she drove to work and parked in the employee lot as usual. But the scanner data told a different story. Her postal scanner showed no activity at the time of the shooting. In fact, she hadn't even scanned in a package for over an hour. Detectives weren't buying it. Interrogation footage later revealed how they pressed her. One detective leaned in and said, "Devin, the gig is up. Everything is pointing to you being involved in this shooting." She stayed quiet, trying to fall back on procedure. "If my car was down there, I don't know why. Maybe someone borrowed it." Her voice was hesitant, weak. They told her they were seizing her car, searching her apartment, conducting a gunshot residue test. That's when she started to spiral. "I understand why I would be a suspect because of who I am related to him and your color." It was a strange deflection, and one that didn't match the facts. Then came the deleted text messages. Forensic analysts recovered months of communications between Devin and a man named Bryce Jennings, a 27-year-old mechanic with a history of minor offenses, and her new boyfriend. The messages were incriminating. Bryce had been tailing Mark's car, feeding Devin real-time updates about his location. On the day of the shooting, their conversation turned from casual to ominous. "He's pulling into the lot now." "Okay, I'm ready. Make sure no one sees you." It was clear, this wasn't a heat-of-the-moment crime. It was planned. But Devin wasn't the only one under the microscope. Detectives brought in Amber Lee, a known acquaintance of Bryce's, who had a volatile history with both men. Her interrogation was unlike any other. Amber sat slouched, her expression vacant, but oddly self-possessed. The detectives pushed her for hours. "Why'd you change clothes after you left the scene?" they asked. "I didn't want to be recognized. I figure I could say Blake, sorry Mark, was dangerous. Say I had to hurt him to get away. That was the plan." Her words were cold, calculated, but when asked about the actual moment of the attack, her tone shifted. She gave a detailed reenactment, standing up, motioning with her hands, showing how she pulled a gun, then a knife, describing how she slashed Mark across the throat, just to be sure. But here's where it gets chilling. Amber wasn't even the one who pulled the trigger. She admitted to being there, admitted to planning with Devin and Bryce, but she insisted that Devin was the shooter. "I just cleaned up after," she said. It was over. The detectives had enough. Devin was arrested on charges of first-degree attempted murder and conspiracy. Bryce was picked up 3 hours later at a gas station just outside Silver Ridge. Both were charged. Both denied the extent of their roles. In court, the prosecution laid out every piece of evidence: the text messages, the footage, the residue tests, and Amber's testimony. Mark Collins survived barely, but with permanent physical and neurological damage. He testified from a wheelchair, pointing directly at Devon from across the courtroom. "I remember her hand in her purse," he said. "Then I remember being shot." Devon Carter and Bryce Jennings were found guilty. The judge called their crime an act of cold, methodical betrayal disguised as fear. They were each sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As for Amber, she took a plea deal, pled guilty to attempted murder in exchange for her testimony. She received 20 years. In Brookhaven, life moved on. The mail still arrived on time. Neighbors still waved at each other. But the town was never quite the same. It's easy to look back and wonder what could have changed things. A warning sign, a phone call, a single moment of clarity. But in the end, all it took was jealousy, manipulation, and a single pull of a trigger to destroy 3 lives and nearly end a 4th. Sometimes, it's not about who pulled the trigger. It's about who loaded the gun.
Thanks for watching. If you found this story gripping, there's more where that came from. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chilling case. And if you have theories or thoughts, drop them in the comments. We read them all. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.